This is a multiple choice question about diffraction grating. Which statement is an example of the diffraction of light? Statement A. The addition of the amplitudes of two beams of light which are in phase. The addition of wave amplitudes is called interference. Statement B. The change in direction of a beam of light when passing from air into water. Change the direction of light when passing through two different mediums is called refraction. Statement C. The separation of a beam of white light into a spectrum of colors using a prism. The separation of the white light into its color components passing through a prism is called dispersion. Option D. The spreading of the beam of light as it passes through a small hole. This is called diffraction. Correct answer is D. So basically, this question covers some properties of waves: interference, refraction, diffraction, and also dispersion. Multiple choice question about superposition and interference. Two loudspeakers are placed near to each other and facing in the same direction. A microphone connected to an oscilloscope is moving along a line some distance away from the loudspeaker. Which statement about the waves emitted by the loudspeakers is not a necessary condition for the microphone to detect a fixed point along the line where there is no sound? General idea about any question that highlight is not is because it's looking for the false statement. To set up your mindset to select the correct answer, we need to look a couple of hints given in this problem. One is those two loudspeakers, they are going to emit waves, identical waves, in this medium. There will be an interference between both waves in this medium. It's going to create an area of constructive interference when crests meet with crests, and destructive interference when crest meets with troughs. So that will be the troughs. In terms of sound, constructive interference will produce a sound. Right here will be the loudest sound. In areas of destructive interference, no sound. So before reading the options, keep in mind which statement produces destructive interference. So let me start with the option D. The waves must have the same wavelength. So if the speaker A produces a wavelength A like this, and the speaker B produces a wavelength with the same size, let's say same size, 2 and 2, but is inverted, this is going to produce no sound. Which means both waves having the same wavelength is a condition to produce no sound. So option D, having the same wavelength, is a condition for destructive interference. Option C, the waves must have the same frequency. To answer this question, let's look at the opposite. What would happen if the speaker A produced this frequency, this wavelength, and speaker B a greater frequency? So when we add those two waves, it's not going to produce destructive interference. Therefore, having the same frequency is also a condition for destructive interference. So in order to have a destructive interference, both waves must have the same frequency and must have the same wavelength. So that way they can cancel each other. Option B, the waves must be emitted with a similar amplitude. Having similar amplitude is also a condition for destructive interference. In this case, if I add the vertical displacement between the wave A and B, so here with the same amplitude, this is positive, this is negative, same value, so there will be 0. And right here will be the same. Now this I have a negative number and I have the same value on the other wave, but positive. So when I add, it's gonna be also 0. So this will be a flat line, so no sound. Now, if both waves have different amplitude, when I add the positive and negative, so they will not be, it's not gonna be canceled. It's gonna have a portion on the positive side. Likewise, if I do this one here, you'll be a portion on the negative side. So it will not be complete destructive interference. So B, it's also a condition for destructive interference. Now, by elimination, the right answer is A, but let's look why. So A states that the waves must be emitted in phase. In phase means that if this wave goes like this, the other wave must be like this. So if they are in phase, so what is going to happen is they are going to add to each other. Then they're going to produce the resultant wave taller. And this is not destructive interference. This is constructive interference. So A, it's not a condition for destructive interference. Now, if A was the waves must be emitted out of phase, that is a condition for destructive interference. This is out of phase, but these are in phase. Another multiple choice relates to interference Another multiple choice relates to interference of loudspeakers. Two identical loudspeakers are connected in series to an AC supply as shown in this picture. A microphone is moved along the line PQ, and which diagram best shows the variation with distance from P to Q of the intensity of the sound detected by the microphone. So these are two identical speakers that is going to emit identical sound waves that is going to travel through this medium. So in this medium, those two sound waves are going to interact. So let's see what is the result on this kind of screen. So roughly, this is a sound wave emitted by this speaker. So at crests, meet with crests right here. So as you see, crest with crest, crest with crest, crest with crest. And then we are going to have a maximum line with constructive interference that is going to arrive in this screen. Likewise, crest with crest, and we have constructive interference. And here we have not a very good but kind of idea, crest with crests. Let's see that like this. It's just like a rough idea. So this is the intersection between the crests from both waves. This is going to produce the loudest sound right here. So this microphone is moving from P to Q. So this is the microphone. Okay, this microphone is connected to a CRO screen that is going to display a wave, but with shape. So we are looking at the shape on, I assume the problem did not mention a CRO display where we can see the shape of a wave. I assume the microphone is connected to that, so you can detect that wave shape. Now this is the point of the loudest sound, so the wave should be the highest here because loud or volume is related to the amplitude of a wave. Now the adjacent ones also will be loud, but not as loud as this one because they are all arrive first. Those, they kind of arrive later, so they are smaller. And also we have an area of destructive interference because I draw just the crests of the sound waves, but also we have the troughs. So here we have the troughs, which is between the crests. We have the troughs. And what is going to happen here is the waves also is going to meet crests with troughs and is going to produce destructive interference. Now between the lines that is connected crest with crest, we have another line here that connect crest with troughs. Here and here on those two red arrows is no sound. No sound or destructive interference. And here I have sound and sound, the loudest one, and sound. So this is the shape of the wave. This one will be more pronounced because it is the loudest sound, and here is no sound, and this is sound because it's connected to the constructive interference between crests and crests and troughs, and right here is the same. So by my explanation, we can eliminate C and D because the wave is kind constant. Now we have those two options. That is correct. But one has a little bit of, because that's sound intensity over distance. So here there is some sound intensity associated with also the sound from the loudspeaker. And here, no sound, just the sound from the loudspeaker. If this problem did not mention there is no background noise, so then that will be the option, no background noise. But the problem didn't say nothing about this. So being realistic, the ideal answer will be this one, because there will be some, even though there is no sound from arriving in this microphone, because the microphone is kind of going with this line, detecting all the sound. So also is detecting the background noise sound. And so this will be the ideal answer. So there is the same shape on the screen and with a little bit of sound when there is no sound detected by the microphone through both speakers. So the answer is A. Diffraction grating, multiple choice. White light consists of many wavelengths. No surprise here. The wavelength of red light, R, is approximately twice the wavelength of violet light, V. Mathematically, is the wavelength of red is equal to 2 times the wavelength of violet. When white light is incident, normally on a diffraction grating, several spectra can be formed, which diagram shows the possible distributions of light in the first order and the second order spectra. So this is a picture from Google. So this is a picture showing the white light when passes through the diffraction grating is going to separate into its components, but the central light here is white, which means option B will be eliminated because it's showing here the white light and this line here is showing red when its reality is white. So this is incorrect. Option D is also incorrect for the same reason from option B. So here should show white light, not violet. This is white light. And show here just both sides, order above and below. And the picture just shows above the zero order. So this is not correct either. So D goes bye-bye. Now let's look option A. So we know that each order make an angle with the zero order. So here is the zero order, and this is the first order, and that's the second order. Then we have to take a look on this angle, what's going on. And we are going to use this information right here in the beginning of the problem. They say the wavelength of red is twice the wavelength of violet. So the formula for diffraction grating is D sine of theta is equal the order number times the wavelength. So let's take a look on D. D is a specification for the diffraction grating. In this case, is constant for both types of light. So this is constant. And also, let's say this one here is not relevant for in terms of the relationship between wavelength and the angle. So let me try to isolate both variables from this formula. The wavelength is clear here, that is proportional to the angle. So if the wavelength of red is twice the wavelength of violet, which means the angle for the red is also greater. So in option A, the angle for violet is greater than red. So this does not express what the beginning of the problem stated. Now the last one, it does show the angle of the red light is greater than the angle of the violet light. So this is correct. Another point that might help is that because all the lights are organized by order, so and then if it states that the wavelength of red is twice the wavelength of violet, so which means that the location of the red order will be higher than the violet. So again, this is the best option for this question. Diffraction grating multiple choice. A parallel beam of light of wavelength 600 nanometer is incident normally on a diffraction grating. The grating has 300 lines per millimeter. What is the total number of intensity maxima for the grating? What this question is asking can be illustrated with this picture. Here is a beam of light passing through a diffraction grating and projecting on the other screen points of maxima. So the question is asking the total number of intensity maxima from the grating. So the order number indicates the maxima. So here is the light of 600 nanometer passing from this diffraction grating and will produce this screen the maxima right here, which is right on the zero order. Then a sequence of maxima will be produced up and the same one down. Like for example, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. And this situation can keep going until this ray will be almost parallel with the diffraction grating, but actually is perpendicular to the zero order because the angle for each ray is the one that makes with the zero order. So right here we are from, like, let's say this 20 degrees up to, keep going, up to almost 90 degrees. So for almost 90 degrees, it's gonna give the maximum intensity of this projection. The question is how we find this number. Let's start with the formula. So we know for diffraction grating, the formula is n lambda is equal d sine theta, or vice versa. You can say d sine theta is equal to n lambda. It doesn't matter. So n is the number of the order, which is all the time a whole number. Lambda is the wavelength of light. D is related to the distance between the lines on the grating, on the screen. And sine of theta is the angle that the ray makes with the normal. So because you will want to cover the maximum value, so I'm gonna go up to 90. So actually what I'm looking for is n, the total number. Okay, so doing my substitution, n, that's what I'm looking for. Lambda is 600, nano is a multiplier 10 to the minus 9. D, I don't have D directly. I have the number of lines per millimeter. I'm going to calculate D. D is the inverse of n, because this is n, right here. And this is 1 over 300 lines per millimeter. 1 divided by 300, I'm sorry, is this number right here, which is 3.3 times 10, 1, 2, 3, minus 3. Now I'm going to flip this unit, so you'll be times millimeter per line, and 3.3 times 10 to the minus 3. Milli is also 10 to the minus 3 meter per line. So my D is 3.3 times 10 to the minus 6 meter per line. So now my D is 3.3 times 10 to the minus 6 sine of 90 degrees, or almost 90 degrees, because I want the maximum intensity maxima. Intensity maxima is the n, so I want the maximum. So then the angle the last one makes with the zero order is almost 90 degrees. So I'm gonna assume 90 will be. Calculator time. So 3.3 EE negative 6 divided by this number, okay, equal divided by 600 EE negative 9 is 5.5. All right, so let me do this. N is 5.5 sine of 90. Okay, sine of 90 is 1. So my n here is 5.5. Now n must be a whole number. So here we have to make a decision if we go with 5 or we go with 6. So let me play around. Let's pick 5. So n must be a whole number. So I'm going to say my n is 5. But wait a minute, it's asking for the total number. So here it's showing just 5 above 0. So I need 5 below 0. So then this will be up, and the other one will be down. So far I have 5 plus 5 is, total is 10. Okay, 10 is not an option, but because we have forget something, this here is also a number. So I have to add with my 0 order, and n, the total number is 11. And this is option C. Beautiful problem.